Welcome to Reddit Hour. So today we have 4 different topics with one central theme: cheating. All right, let's get into it. 2 months ago, my wife of 10 years tragically passed away in a car accident, hit by a drunk driver in broad daylight. I cried nonstop for 3 days. We were planning on having kids, and I had started a good paying job a year earlier. And we just purchased our first home just 2 months before her death. I just couldn't and still can't believe she is really gone from my life. It's like just yesterday, everything was heading in the right direction, and soon we would raise a family. She seemed happy in our marriage and stated how proud of me she was. The following week after the accident, I received her phone, which was locked. After a week, I found out how to unlock it by an obvious code I didn't think of earlier. I had simply just wanted to keep photos in her memory, photos of us and so forth. But I saw some odd things in her photos, including photos of her in someone else's house, a house which I had never seen before, taking provocative images. I continued scrolling down and seeing the most heart-wrenching thing I have ever seen, which was her with another man. It was nothing sexual, but they were in a place that was obviously his. And just how close they were, I just knew that this was an affair. The guy who my wife had an affair with showed up at her funeral. I felt like I got stabbed in the gut when I realized I seen him there. I began reading her text, and first I found out that she was on her way back from his place. 3 hours before the accident, she texted him saying, "I'm on my way." I knew that meant he was his last one to see my wife. Not only see her, but having an intimate moment with her. Also, she would still be here right now if she wasn't seeing him. I feel like I'm going through a death of a loved one and a breakup at the same time. She did this behind my back and will never know that I found out. In a way, I feel like she got to escape the heartbreak she put me through. Although I fully understand death is much worse, and even knowing everything I know, I would never wish this or any pain upon her. I found out knowing through her texts, but her Facebook messages. Something that absolutely enrages me is that she told her closest friend that this guy from work wanted to take her out to dinner. Her friend encouraged her to go out with him. It enrages me because I knew her as well, and in person she was always very nice. But my wife was asking her to get confirmation. Had she said, "No, you are married, do not go out with him," I honestly feel like she wouldn't have done it. But her best friend was like, "Oh, is he hot? Oh, do it. Go have fun." It's just effing enraging. This happened 6 months ago when she asked her friend about it. A few days later, she talked to her friend about how after dinner she went to his place and had sex multiple times. When I read that, I honestly got physically sick. I honestly started going through a breakdown, vomiting in the toilet, crying on the bathroom floor. I just can't imagine that this stuff actually happened, but it did. How could she do this? But as the days passed and the initial shock began to slow down, I started piecing things together. The funeral, I noticed something a little unusual, which was this best friend of hers talking to one of her coworkers. This was a friend from high school, and so there was no reason she should have known any of her coworkers. But she was in fact talking to her coworker, who she had the affair with. Then she came and talked to me, gave me a hug. The guy who my wife was having an affair with came and shook my hand. Something about that just makes me feel sick. Like I was being humiliated in a moment of grief. There was him and her best friend who knew about her affair. I couldn't help but wonder, did her coworkers also know? It's been a month and I feel no closer to breaking away from the heartbreak. I miss her. I want her to be alive. If she was, I would probably want to fix our marriage. But she's not here anymore. I still couldn't bring myself to read all of her text messages with him. There's hundreds, and some are sexually explicit. My blood boils and my heart aches when I open her text, and I get hit with anxiety and an adrenaline rush. Palms get sweaty and hands shake. But I feel it's important I knew everything. It just breaks my heart. This guy did things with my wife she wouldn't do for me. The thing that blows my mind the most is that there were no warning signs at all. Not effing one. Our marriage was good. She never did anything suspicious. Our sex life went on as normal, just zero warning signs about it, other than the fact she started wearing a little more makeup than usual. Then I blame myself for not catching on. Maybe this all could have been prevented. Maybe I should have done this or that. I am broken and don't see myself ever being happy again. Accidentally caught him cheating. I went through his phone randomly. We've had some issues in the past where he's continued to speak with girls or seek out other girls at the start of our relationship. He never had sex with any of them, and the most it ever was basically like second base stuff and just sending pics to other girls. We're about 2 years into the relationship, planning to move in, planning to get married, planning our next steps. I go through his phone and find messages from a girl. He sent her pictures, but she hasn't sent any in return. And the messages are clearly sexual, with some video calls and messages from her saying she had a nice night. This happened a week ago on Sunday, the day before we were eating dinner with my family. He said they didn't have sex and that it was just sexual talk. And after he mentioned she knew he had a girlfriend, and they talked about why he was trying to cheat on me, because I should be so lucky to have a boyfriend who got caught out. But no, I messaged her privately and she confirmed that they kissed, had sex, then went and had dinner together. And she also said that I should feel secure because he loves me and he said he wouldn't leave me for her or any other girl. I should be so lucky, so grateful. My partner will F other women but won't leave me for them. I don't know what to do next. He's apologized and confirmed that he loves me and that this was a mistake that he regrets. But I cannot see anything other than the fact that he looks at my face on the screensaver on his phone and still went and effed another woman. He wants to move in with me by the end of the month, once he secures a full-time position. I don't see him changing when we get married. I don't see him changing once we have kids. He says he feels stuck. I feel stuck too. Everyone knows we're together and planning a wedding. Everyone knows we just bought a car and went into a loan together. My family from here and overseas are preparing for a wedding. And I can't see myself leaving him now. I can't see myself admitting that I was wrong and that we are not good together. Deep down, I do still love him, but he has hurt me too deeply and too often. I've told him to get tested, see a counselor, and talk to his friends about what he's done. I don't know if that will happen. We are probably going to stay together and I'm going to feel like an empty shell until things get better. I don't know what else to ask of him to make things better. I don't know what advice I want. I just need someone to vent to and talk to and tell me what to do next. I don't want to be without him, but it really hurts to be with him and be constantly on alert about this happening again. I am still in shock. I am heartbroken. My girlfriend and I have been dating for 4 years. We live together. During that time, she has been obsessed with a very minor YouTube musician. He has a few videos with a couple million views and a small following. During our entire relationship, she has always claimed that he was her exception. I always assumed it was a joke. I'd fire right back with my celebrity crush. Well, he went on tour and played in the city near us at a small venue. She went with a coworker to see him. After the concert, she didn't come home that night or answer my text. I assumed she slept over the coworkers since she lives closer to the venue. She came home the next morning and didn't talk about the concert much. I asked questions and got vague answers, which was odd. I assumed she was tired. Later that day, she broke the news to me. It was bizarre. She said it with a smile on her face, as though I was going to be happy and excited for her. I am heartbroken. I was yelling. We were both crying. She said she didn't know how I would react, but she didn't think it would be this extreme. She said I always knew he was her exception. I didn't think she was serious. I am currently staying in a motel and I don't know what to do. I love her so much, but I cannot think about her without thinking about what she did. She has tainted my memory of her. I cannot help but think that clearly she does not love me unconditionally, like she claims she does, because this is not love. Clearly, I am not the one she is obsessing over, even though she is the one I have always obsessed over. If I am not enough for her, then I don't know if I ever will be, and it clearly seems as though I am not enough for her. I am lost. I am hurt. I am alone. Let me start my story from the day my partner and I got engaged. We got engaged last 27th of February. It was our 5 years and 5 months together. I was excited to be engaged, but struggled with feelings of confusion. Here's why. In late 2017, after an overseas trip, I started having problems at work. I was stressed a lot, working long hours, and admittedly neglected my partner. We were also not having a lot of sex then, but this has been ongoing for 1 year, and he was pretty bummed. That was his love language. I don't enjoy sex very much. It was painful for me, and he was understanding for the most part. Later on, he admitted that he was feeling the urge to see and date someone else. That really broke my heart. I tried harder to become a better partner. I became more patient, understanding, despite struggling with depression. I worked really hard on our relationship, but there were times he'd be irritable. He wasn't excited to have sex anymore. Even after my best effort, he still kept on thinking about this other girl. February 2018, I got fed up, decided I deserved better, and offered to walk out the door. But he promised me that he'll forget about his feelings and will focus on the relationship. That was a huge turning point in our relationship. Before this, I was big on certainty, on us both being sure we'll end up together. And after, I realized that nothing is certain in life, and I should just ride along with it for as long as he still wants to be together. I continued to rebuild my trust in him, and we've reached a point where he felt certain enough to pop the question and wanted to marry me. So, 2 weeks into our engagement, I decided to meet with a friend who's also an ex-office mate of ours. My partner and I used to work in the same company, and this ex-office mate and I became friends after I left, mid-2018. I wanted some marriage advice from my friend and decided to share that bit of incident my partner and I had 2 years ago and why I was feeling confused about how marriage will change things for us. My friend started acting suspiciously, as if he knew something, but didn't want to tell me. He eventually did, after much pressure. He tells me that 3 years ago, when I left for my overseas trip, my partner started seeing another office mate of ours. Their affair lasted for 9 months. My friend knew because he became friends with the girl when I left the company. And well, many people from the office knew, but no one told me. I guess I'm not very popular at work. It was so painful for me to be connecting the dots 2-3 years after it happened. I was completely under the impression that my partner never acted on his thoughts and feelings, and to know that they were very intimate, even though we spent 14 hours together every day during that period, is heartbreaking. The long-term nature of the affair also kills me. I can't wrap my head around the moment of lies that he told me during that time, back when I was trying so hard to rebuild our relationship. But what makes it more difficult is that it's over, and that for the past 2 years after the affair supposedly ended, he has been wonderful and supportive and loving. He regrets the affair, regrets not telling me about it himself, and is working hard to prove himself again. He's given me access to everything. He promises complete honesty and no decisions that will hurt me again. I am so mad at the version of him that doesn't exist anymore. I have no one else to get mad at because it's been years since it ended for them. They moved on. But for me, it's as if it all happened yesterday. I love my partner. I really do. And I want to trust him again, but I don't know how to start. Just the thought that this person chose to lie to my face over and over and over again for 9 months kills me every time. And I don't know how to move forward. Thanks for watching, and you guys let me know in the comments. Is it true? Once a cheater, always a cheater? Please like and subscribe.